The first Rashid caliph, Abu Bakr al Siddiq. The Rashidun caliph, Abd-Allah ibn Abi Quhafa, his qualities and morals since the beginning of the Islamic message and its spread to the world. Part 2. We continue to tell a stage of the life of the Rashidun caliph, Abu Bakr al Siddiq. Last years in Mecca. In 617, the Quraysh enforced a boycott against the Banu Hashim. Muhammad, along with his supporters from Banu Hashim, were cut off in a pass away from Mecca. All social relations with the Banu Hashim were cut off and their state was that of imprisonment. Before it, many Muslims migrated to Abyssinia, now Ethiopia. Abu Bakr, feeling distressed, set out for Yemen and then to Abyssinia from there. He met a friend of his named Ad-Dudna, chief of the Kara tribe, outside Mecca, who invited Abu Bakr to seek his protection against the Quraysh. Abu Bakr went back to Mecca. It was a relief for him, but soon due to the pressure of Quraysh, Ad-Dudna was forced to renounce his protection. Once again the Quraysh were free to persecute Abu Bakr. In 620, Muhammad's uncle and protector, Abu Talib ibn Abd al-Muttalib, and Muhammad's wife Khadija died. Abu Bakr's daughter Aisha was betrothed to Muhammad. However, it was decided that the actual marriage ceremony would be held later. In 620, Abu Bakr was the first person to testify to Muhammad's Isra and Miraj, night journey. Migration to Medina. In 622, on the invitation of the Muslims of Medina, Muhammad ordered Muslims to migrate to Medina. The migration began in batches. Ali was the last to remain in Mecca, entrusted with responsibility for settling any loans the Muslims had taken out, and famously slept in the bed of Muhammad when the Quraysh, led by Ikrimah, attempted to murder Muhammad as he slept. Meanwhile, Abu Bakr accompanied Muhammad to Medina. Due to the danger posed by the Quraysh, they did not take the road, but moved in the opposite direction, taking refuge in a cave in Jabal Thar, some 5 miles south of Mecca. Abd-Allah ibn Abi Bakr, the son of Abu Bakr, would listen to the plans and discussions of the Quraysh, and at night he would carry the news to the fugitives in the cave. Asma bint Abi Bakr, the daughter of Abu Bakr, brought them meals every day. Amir, a servant of Abu Bakr, would bring a flock of goats to the mouth of the cave every night, where they were milked. The Quraysh sent search parties in all directions. One party came close to the entrance to the cave, but was unable to see them. Abu Bakr was referenced in the Quran in verse 40 of Surah At-Tawbah. If ye help him not, still God helped him when those who disbelieved drove him forth. The Taniya Ithnain, second of the two, i.e. Abu Bakr, when they two were in the cave, when he said unto his sahib, companion, i.e. Abu Bakr. Aisha, Abu Sayyid al-Khudri and Abd-Allah ibn Abbas in interpreting this verse said that Abu Bakr was the companion who stayed with Muhammad in the cave. After staying at the cave for 3 days and 3 nights, Abu Bakr and Muhammad proceed to Medina, staying for some time at Quba, a suburb of Medina. Life in Medina. In Medina, Muhammad decided to construct a mosque. A piece of land was chosen and the price of the land was paid for by Abu Bakr. The Muslims, including Abu Bakr, constructed a mosque named Al-Masjid al-Nabawi at the site. Abu Bakr was paired with Kharija bin Zayd Ansari, who was from Medina, as a brother in faith. Abu Bakr's relationship with Kharija was most cordial, which was further strengthened when Abu Bakr married Habiba, a daughter of Kharija. Kharija bin Zayd Ansari lived at Sun, a suburb of Medina, and Abu Bakr also settled there. After Abu Bakr's family arrived in Medina, he bought another house near Muhammad's. While the climate of Mecca was dry, the climate of Medina was damp, and because of this, most of the migrants fell sick on arrival. Abu Bakr contracted a fever for several days, during which time he was attended to by Kharija and his family. In Mecca, Abu Bakr was a wholesale trader in cloth and he started the same business in Medina. He opened his new store at Sun, and from there cloth was supplied to the market at Medina. Soon his business flourished. Early in 623, Abu Bakr's daughter Aisha, who was already married to Muhammad, was sent on to Muhammad's house after a simple marriage ceremony, further strengthening relations between Abu Bakr and Muhammad. Military campaigns under Muhammad. Battle of Badr. The Battle of Badr pronunciation, also referred to as the Day of the Criterion pronunciation, Jamul Furqan, in the Quran and by Muslims, was fought on the 13th of March 624 CE, 17 Ramadan, 2 near the present-day city of Badr, al-Madinah province in Saudi Arabia. Muhammad, commanding an army of his Sahaba, defeated an army of the Quraysh led by Amr ibn Hisham, better known among Muslims as Abu Jahl. The battle marked the beginning of the 6-year war between Muhammad and his tribe. Prior to the battle, the Muslims and the Meccans had fought several smaller skirmishes in late 623 and early 624. Muhammad took keen interest in capturing Meccan caravans after his migration to Medina, seeing it as repayment for his people, the Muhajirun. A few days before the battle, when he learnt of a Meccan caravan returning from the Levant led by Abu Sufyan ibn Harb, Muhammad gathered a small expeditionary force to capture it. Abu Sufyan, learning of the Muslim plan to ambush his caravan, changed course and took a longer route away from Muhammad's base at Medina and sent a messenger to Mecca, asking for help. Amr bin Hisham commanded an army nearly 1,000 strong, approaching Badr and encamping at the sand dune al-Udwatul Qaswa. Badr was the first large-scale engagement between the Muslims and Quraysh Meccans. Advancing from the north, the Muslims faced the Meccans. The battle began with duels between the warriors on both sides, following which the Meccans charged upon the Muslims under a cover of arrows. The Muslims countered their charge and broke the Meccan lines, killing several important Qurayshi leaders including Abu Jahl and Umayyah ibn Khalaf. The Muslim victory strengthened Muhammad's position. The Medinese eagerly joined his future expeditions, and tribes outside Medina openly allied with Muhammad. The battle has been passed down in Islamic history as a decisive victory attributable to divine intervention, and by other sources to the strategic prowess of Muhammad. After the Hijra, migration to Medina, in 622 CE, the population of Medina chose Muhammad to be the leader of the community. Muhammad's followers decided to raid the caravans of the Meccans as they passed by Medina. This decision was taken in response to the Meccans' persecution of the Muslims and their forceful seizing of Muslim land and property following the Hijra. In early 624, a caravan of the Quraysh led by Abu Sufyan ibn Harb carrying wealth and goods from the Levant, possibly Gaza, was returning to Mecca. It was carrying merchandise worth 50,000 dinars and guarded by 70 men. The caravan was extraordinarily large, possibly because several smaller caravans may have grouped together for safety. All the leading Meccan financiers had a share in this trading venture, and thus had a strong interest in it returning. Muhammad learned of the caravan and decided to intercept it for 2 reasons. First, was the continuation of the policy to recover wealth from the Quraysh, as the Quraysh had confiscated Muslims' properties in Mecca after the Hijra. Secondly, a successful attack would impress the Meccans and could act as a deterrent against a future attack on Medina. Abu Sufyan sent word to Mecca that the caravan was in danger, asking for reinforcements to cover the caravan as it passed by Medina. Traditional Muslim sources write that Abu Sufyan's spies had informed him of Muslim preparations to attack, a view accepted by Ramadan. Indeed, classical sources write that Abu Sufyan routinely sent spies to check on Muhammad and warn him of any Muslim movement in the area. But Watt writes, given that it took the Meccan army a week to get to Badr, Abu Sufyan must have sent his request before the Muslim preparations began. Watt points out Abu Sufyan was one of the most astute men in Mecca and must have anticipated the Muslim attack. Muhammad had gathered a small expeditionary force of around 300 men to intercept the caravan. Abu Sufyan's spies informed him of the Muslims' plot to ambush his caravan. Fearing the loss of wealth that was imminent, Abu Sufyan sent the messenger Dumdum bin Amr al-Ghifari to the Quraysh. Dumdum, upon his arrival at the Kaaba, cut off the nose and ears of his camel, turned its saddle upside down, tore off his shirt and cried, "O Quraysh! Your merchandise! It is with Abu Sufyan. The caravan is being intercepted by Muhammad and his companions. I cannot say what would have happened to them. Help! Help!" Abu Sufyan had rerouted his caravan toward the Red Sea and escaped the Muslim threat by Dumdum's arrival at Mecca. The valley of Badr is surrounded by two large sand dunes to the east, called Al-Udwachid Dunya, the near side of the valley, and Al-Udwatul Qaswa, the far side of the valley. The Quran speaks of these two in Surah 8, verse 42. The west of the valley was covered by the Al-Asfal mountain, Jabal al-Asfal, with an opening between it and another hill in the northwest. Between Al-Udwachid Dunya and Al-Udwatul Qaswa was an opening, which was the primary route to Medina. Muhammad and his army did not approach the battlefield from here. They came from the north, as they were originally planning to target the caravan, which was moving from the Levant in the north to Mecca in the south. Between Al-Udwatul Qaswa and the hill covering the southern part of the battlefield was another opening, which was the primary route from Mecca. The Quraysh had encamped in the southeastern portion of the valley near the road to Mecca, while Muhammad and his army had encamped in some date palms in the north. They had taken a well near the center of the western margin of Al-Udwatul Dunya and destroyed the other wells near the road to Medina to prevent the Meccans from getting any water. Another well situated at the end of the road to Mecca was later filled with the dead bodies of the dead Meccans. On the night of the 11th of March, 15 Ramadan, it had rained over the battlefield and the surrounding region. Muslims believe this was a blessing from Allah for the believers and a curse for the disbelievers, who suffered hardship in trying to climb the muddy slope. Muslim march to Badr. Muhammad was able to gather an army of 313 to 317 men. Sources vary upon the exact number, but the generally accepted number is 313. This army consisted of 82 Muhajirun, 61 men from the Aus and 170 men from the Khazraj. They were not well equipped for a major conflict nor prepared. They only had 2 horses, and those belonged to Zubair ibn al-Awwam and al-Miqdad ibn Amr. The entire army had 70 camels, meaning that they had 1 camel for 2 to 3 men to ride alternatively. Muhammad shared a camel with Ali ibn Abu Talib and Marthad ibn Abi Marthad al-Ghanawi. The guardianship and administration of Medina was entrusted with Ibn Maktum, but later with Abu Lubaba ibn Abd al-Mundir. Muhammad handed a white standard to Musab ibn Umair al-Qurashi al-Abdari. The army was divided into 2 battalions, one of the 82 Muhajirun and the other of the 231 Ansar. The flag of the Muhajirun was carried by Ali ibn Abu Talib, while that of the Ansar was carried by Sa'd ibn Mu'ad. As Zubair commanded the right flank, while al-Miqdad commanded the left. And the rear of the army was commanded by Qays bin Abi Sasa. With Muhammad in the lead, the army marched out along the main road to Mecca from the north. At Safra, he dispatched Bazbaz al-Juhani and Adi al-Juhani to scout for the Quraysh. The future Caliph Uthman stayed behind to care of his sick wife Ruqayya, the daughter of Muhammad, who later died from illness. Salman al-Farsi also could not join the battle, as he was still not a free man. Qurayshi advanced toward Badr. All of the clans of the Quraysh except the Banu Adi quickly assembled an excited army of around 1,300 men, 100 horses and a large number of camels. Moving swiftly towards Badr, they passed the valleys of Usfan, Khadid and Al-Jufa. At Al-Jufa, another messenger from Abu Sufyan informed them of the safety of their merchandise and wealth. Upon receiving this message, the Meccan army expressed delight and showed a desire to return home. Abu Jahl was not interested in returning and insisted on proceeding to Badr and holding a feast there to show the Muslims and the surrounding tribes that they were superior. Despite Abu Jahl's threat and insistence, the Banu Zara, numbering around 300, broke away from the army and returned to Mecca, on the advice of Al-Aqnaz ibn Shuraik. Muhammad's clan, the Banu Hashim, also attempted to break away but were threatened by Abu Jahl to stay. Many of the Qurayshi nobles, including Abu Jahl, Al-Walid ibn Utbah, Utbah ibn Rabia, and Umayyah ibn Khalaf, joined the Meccan army. Their reasons varied. Some were out to protect their financial interests in the caravan. Others wanted to avenge Ibn al-Hadrami, a guard killed in one of the caravan ambushes at Nakhla. Finally, a few must have wanted to take part in what was expected to be an easy victory against the Muslims. Amr ibn Hisham is described as shaming Umayyah ibn Khalaf into joining the expedition. I stop at this point today. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep exploring the world's incredible stories. Soon we will publish Part 3. Thank you for watching.